we are getting the means of implementation. So that these means of implementation, that means the climate finance, technology transfer or development, and the capacity building to enhance the climate action that we have identified in our nationally determined contributions, NDCs. I think you might be conversant or had undergone through the NDC 30 document we have submitted last year, September. It is available in the web. Our nationally determined contributions, the latest version, that is the NDC 30, that is the NDC third volume, that is for the global commitment. Uh, we have become a signatory to the Paris Agreement in 2015. We signed the agreement in 2015 and we became a signatory after ratifying it. After ratifying it, 2016. So now we are among other 198 countries. There are altogether 198 UN countries, United Nations countries, who have ratified this Rio Convention. That is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So that is for for our global commitment. So we have submitted our national determined contributions and our national adaptation plan. Our national adaptation plan is with the cabinet. We have submitted for cabinet approval very soon. Within about 1 month, we will get the national adaptation plan. We have another document I will explain while we are going through our slide presentation, that is called climate prosperity plan. Climate prosperity plan, because uh, I mean, just reduction of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and all. I mean, that is something that the global influential developed countries coined agenda. But what we have done is that we have identified being a vulnerable country, I mean, who are emitting well below less than 1% of the greenhouse gases. So we should have a different agenda, that is climate prosperity. We are talking on climate prosperity. That means, I mean, this present context that created by the developed world is a good opportunity for that to develop our country, because they avail lot of different means of implementation, so that to attract those things we have to show these sectors and these communities are so vulnerable, and we became high in the climate risk index and all those things. And so please provide us support so that we can improve our resilience, we can secure our communities from vulnerabilities. Likewise, climate prosperity plan is a different tool. It is a complementary supportive tool to the NDCs and the national adaptation plans. While I am going through my slideshow, I will explain. Feel free to ask whatever the questions, even though I am having my slides. If you feel free to stop and ask me clarification, I am very much like to share my experiences and resolve your problems and issues to the best capacity to me. Okay, let us go through. Kindly share next slide, please. Okay, so the introduction. So what is climate change? Let us enter into the real understanding, because climate change one area, a lot of misconceptions are there. So the climate change refers to the long-term shift in global temperatures and weather patterns, right? Primarily driven by human activities since the industrial era. So some people say that there were ice ages and all those things. So why we bother about this temperature increase? So this will automatically, naturally will settle. We will have a nice time. so the climate change will be settled. So that is one of a misconception. So that's why this is utterly an anthropocentric, anthropogenic activity. So we human beings are responsible for the climate change, what we are experiencing nowadays. Nowadays, heat stress, heat island effect, and other lot of different things, erratic rainfall, flash floods, and long-lasting droughts and all. So an unpredictable weather. We don't know what will happen. What will happen? Will there be another Ditwa? So I mean, people are living so uncertainty and they are so fear. You would have seen that the even a little rainfall comes, you would have seen that people are so conscious what is going to happen. I mean, it is not a rain that we have experienced several years before. So it is highly anthropocentric. So people, the human beings created this issue. So if that is a problem to us, we people should align ourselves and find out sustainable solutions to get back to normal. Let the climate to behave its own way. I mean, it was a natural phenomenon. Temperature, atmospheric temperature, sea surface temperature, and rainfall, the wind direction, everything. I mean, those are natural phenomena. What happened is that we intervene, so that's why we happen to experience this bad impact, so that our livelihoods affects, our lives affect. We are living in so uncertainty with fear. So greenhouse gases, I mean, this is the explanation we have today. Carbon dioxide, methane, and the nitrous oxide trap heat in Earth's atmosphere. You might know about it. You know what happened, that is called greenhouse gas effect. I mean, this indiscriminate emission of these gases, I mean, above the natural level, they are permissible, not permissible. They are available in the normal atmosphere now. 0.03% at carbon dioxide is ideal before industrial levels to keep the useful atmosphere heat. But what happened? I mean, when compared to the pre-industrial levels, carbon dioxide emissions were somewhere around 280 parts per million. Now it is 420 3.09 in 2024, the warmest year recorded in this decade. So what happened is that it is the 52% increase of part per million of the carbon dioxide available in the atmosphere. So what happened is that the indiscriminate emission of these gases trap the heat emitted by the sun. So that traps around our near atmosphere. So it is getting heated. The atmospheric patterns and all the rainfall patterns and everything is affected. So that's why creating warming effect that disrupts natural climate systems. So the rising temperatures cause sea level rise. So the polar ice caps, glaciers, they melt, and so the water added to the sea. So that comes to the equator area. So we are living here because of the gravity and the movement of the Earth around sun. So what happened is that our countries in the tropics, so the sea level rise increases. A lot of our cities are along the coastal line. Our economic activities are there, the Colombo, Galle, Halawata, Matra, and all those areas. So lot of impact will happen. So that's why it says, so extreme weather events, biodiversity loss, and agricultural disrupts affecting communities worldwide. So worldwide phenomena. So because unlike other major problems what we are experiencing, I mean, you would have heard about the triple planetary crisis. Tritogolia Arbudea. Tritogolia Arbudea means triple planetary crisis. That the first environmental issue is the waste issue, that is the environmental pollution. Second one, second one is the biodiversity degradation, And the third one is the climate change adverse impacts that we happen to face. So the triple planetary crisis now we happen to face today because of the unsustainable lifestyles what we are adapted to consumption and the production. So this is the introduction. So this is where this problem happened. So we understand the real cause that it is anthropogenic. So we human beings create that issue. So we are the ones who have to solve that issue with our capacities. Next slide, please. So what is our reality? Sri Lanka reality. So what is our vulnerability? How vulnerable we are? What is our resilience requirement? So coastal erosion threatens. So I mean, you see, this is our 1,620 kilometer of shoreline. So we are blessed to become a fifth largest. We are the fifth largest island of the world, right? So disrupting fishing communities and enduring infrastructure. You might have seen that the television, the meteorology department, our colleagues say that මුහුද රළුවිය හැකි බැවින් දීවර කටයුතු වලට යනකොට පරිස්සම් වෙන්න කියලා කියනවා. So what is that really? So that incidents are happening more frequent. The magnitude is also very high. So our fishing is affected. Although we have a lot of coastline, protein supply, a lot of our protein supply comes from the fishes that we eat, but what happened is that is affected. I mean that the fishermen cannot follow their normal adapted routine to go for fishing grounds. Then the second one, extreme weather, increased frequency of floods. You would have seen in 2017 and 18 time, our Colombo capital city experienced the bad floods. So we advanced. I mean, we go higher in our climate risk index in between for in between the first six countries. So likewise, increased frequency of floods, droughts, and cyclones. This was the latest example we experienced in somewhere around late November last year. Lot of I am not going to explain it to you. Are well aware of that. The billions of Sri Lankan annually. So ongoing rainfall patterns, disruption, tea, rice, and coconut production, threatening food security and livelihoods. So this is evident now. So the climate change. When I joined the Ministry of Environment in 1998. I mean, those days when people were talking about climate change, they, so you see, you believe me. So people were laughing. What is the thing that these people are talking about climate change? Climate doesn't have any problem. The environmental problems are there. Biodiversity loss, pollution. So climate change was not experienced those days. But what happened? We became a real time that nowadays this is a reality. Climate behaves its own way because of our indiscriminate emissions of greenhouse gases, the global warming and all. So what happened is that the Sri Lanka also experiencing these problems. If you go, I am not going to explain within the available time to me about the impact to the different sectors, agriculture, tourism. All those are well explained in our national determined contribution. I kindly request you to go through our national determined contributions, our national adaptation plans. Now we have 9 different provincial adaptation plans also, because the UNFCCC, the Paris Agreement, asks us to devolve climate action into the possible subnational units. So likewise, even now we have about 79 local adaptation plans also. If you are interested, please kindly contact us. So this is our climate reality. Kindly go to the next slide, please. So the global commitment. So as per the topics given to me, this is a global problem. Unlike environmental pollution, biodiversity degradation, though this problem is not point source. I mean, very difficult to find out the cause in Sri Lanka, because if our sea level rise increases, if we happen to face the urban heat island effect, or if our temperature is increasing, if our rainfall is creating lot of different flash floods and all, the and persistent mm, drought and all, this is not because that we have done bad misconduct to create these issues. This is mainly because the developed world, China, USA, the European countries, and some of other countries who are emitting large volumes of carbon dioxide, and mainly the carbon dioxide due to their economic operations, because their gross domestic products mainly depends on the industrial products. So they burn a lot of fossil fuels so that their productivity is there. They are rich because that they are burning a lot of fossil fuels. Let me explain the slide. What slide says? Sri Lanka committed to reducing emissions 20.09. So we go to our global commitment is that national determined contribution last year September. So we enhance our reduction target as per the Paris Agreement from 14.5% to 20.09. Major emitting sectors like energy, industry, transport, waste, agriculture, and forestry. So this is our commitment. Now, our new target is that we are going to reduce 20.09 percentage of greenhouse gas emissions, global warming potential, as per the baseline. That means uh, the what do you call it? Uh, no, not intervention scenario. So we are going to, if we allow that to happen business as usual, compared to the business as usual scenario. That means if we don't do anything, uh, this much of greenhouse gases will increase. So we are going to reduce that much of greenhouse gases from our treasury money and the support we got from we get from the external parties by 2035, 20.09% under the Paris Agreement with conditional target. So you see the conditional target 1.98%. So conditional target means not spending the at least 1 rupee from we collected from the tax from our community. If we get support from the external parties like Green Climate Fund, Adaptation Fund, funding window there, we reduce percent. That is we have build the global community as a voluntary. Please support. Provide that climate finance. Please provide that technology or transfer technology to climate action. Sri Lanka actively participates in finance and support for vulnerable nations. So we are participating. We are negotiating, having bilateral meetings with the developed world so that we will get more climate finance technology and the capacities to enhance our climate. And we are substantial through UNFCCC pursue the technical on adapt resilience, global funding, national government cannot get those financing for to through our FAO. So the next slide, please. Hello. Okay, thank you. So, what are our targets? Mainly, the main emission sector is the energy. So, these are our renewable energy targets to shift our renewable energy towards renewable energy rather than burning coal and diesel to generate electricity. Sri Lanka targets 70% renewable energy by 2030, expanding solar, wind, and hydropower capacity nationwide. So we pledge that. So our target, by 2050, we pledge to become a net zero country. There will not be a net emission from our economic sector. So this is our intermittent target. By 2030, we pledge to become meet our renewable energy to our national power requirement 70%. Sustainable agriculture, promoting organic farming, climate resilient agriculture, crops, and ensure crop security while reducing emission. Because agricultural lands emit if those are inundated, because rice is our major crop, our staple food. If the areas are inundated and if we use lot of water, methane emission happen because of the anaerobic fermentation. So we advocate, and we have the climate smart agriculture investment plan also we have developed with the private sector. We are going to do different changes in the economic sectors also. So we have tried to promote organic farming and climate resilient crops and all those things. Agriculture, forest conservation. Forests are the living beings who absorb the excess carbon dioxide and put all those carbons that we emit into the economic because of our economic activities into again harmless organic substances in the plants. So we pledge to increase our forest cover to 32% through now it is somewhere around 29%, up to 32% through reforestation and protecting existing rainforest and watersheds. So likewise, the climate pledges national commitments align with Paris Agreement goals and to reduce carbon footprints significantly. So reducing carbon footprints also, as I told you, our long-term target is to become a net zero country by 2050. I mean, we are so ambitious. I mean, you see our neighbors, China and India, they pledge to become net zero by 2060 and 70, not ambitious like us. So our national commitment aligns to long-term targets and all to Paris Agreement goals to reduce carbon footprint significantly. Coastal protection, mangroves has more power to sequester carbon when compared to other terrestrial forests. So mangrove restoration and sea walls protect vulnerable coastal communities from rising sea levels and shrubs. We are blessed to have a significant mangrove areas also, as that areas were conserved by the forest department. So a lot of activities are going to stabilize our coastal mangroves. So next slide, please. So key challenges and opportunities. So in our mission to get our global support as the vulnerable country, what are the challenges and opportunities? These are the Sri Lankan path forward, finding gaps. No, not finding gaps. These are the funding gaps. Limited financial resources and economic constraints hinder large-scale climate initiatives and infrastructure development. So let me explain this a little bit more. Funding gaps means, if we are expecting funding from the Green Climate Fund, you see, at although the funding is available there, it is not that easy to get funding from them. So they ask, it is highly competitive. There are 198 countries are the country parties under the Paris Agreement. So all the countries are expecting money to enhance the resilience of their communities and the economies. So then what what are the criteria critical to the green climate fund is that we have to very accurately, very critically explain what is the theory of change, how we are going to change our communities behavior, the unsustainable lifestyle and all. So we have to explain the theory of change. So what does our proposal has to the way the innovative solutions, how we are going to change our people's unsustainable behavior. So how we are drive our communities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, how we are going to promote our people for sustainable living. Likewise, those things, theory of change and the paradigm shift. Paradigm shift is that, so what is novel there? So how you are going to shift your people to the circular economy from the linear economy likewise. So the funding gaps mean that that story should be tell very nicely. What happened is that although we national focal point is there, I mean we coordinate the activities, I mean we have the limited staff and all. So these, so we are having different programs to enhance the capacities of our people to address and to write well focused proposals to the Green Climate Fund, the Adaptation Fund, so that we can secure funding. I mean, still, I am sorry to say that we have long way to go to improve well focused, nicely written proposals so that we can accept. Only we are successful to get two funding only for the Nakas project and the Vaugam Pudur project. And there are 5 projects pending. What happened is that we offer no objection letters and endorse them. That goes back and forth from the Green Climate Fund, the project developer, because they are looking forward the different real story, how you are going to change the lifestyle and all those things. The funding gap is there too. I mean, that question comes to us. We have to enhance the capacity so our people, our experts to write well focused, nicely written a proposal so that we can attract funding. So this is a different story. We should have the data and everything. We have to prove those things, and we are doing different things, and we have long way to go. Country adaptation. Rural communities need support to adapt farming practices and build resilience against extreme weather events. So this is, I mean, we don't have data on our rural communities' climate resilient requirement. And nowadays we are developing measurement, reporting, and verification platform, MRV platform, aligned with the enhanced transparency framework as per the Article 13 of the Paris Agreement. So we think that for agriculture, forestry, and other land use sector, AFLU sector, we are developing, and I mean uh, we have developed the platform and we are entering the data and all. So NDC tracking and everything is happening there. With those things, I mean, we can think that we expect that we can reflect our community realities very well, their resilience requirement, policy implementation. So this is also a way forward. Translating climate commitments into effective local action requires stronger governance and coordination. We have governance and coordination structures. We have prepared our national determined contributions, national adaptation plans, provincial adaptation plans, climate prosperity plans. We prepared that well consultation with our stakeholders like Fisheries Ministry, Health Ministry, Agriculture Ministry, Tourism Ministry. Likewise, there are focal points, climate change focal points in those respective ministries and the private sector, civil society. But still, we have developed governance structures, NDC, planning and monitoring committees, adaptation cells. Still, I am sorry to say, we have a lot more to do. So this is a great challenge so that our governance and policy implementation should be successful so that we can enhance the resilience of our communities and uh, um, to become a more resilient nation in the tropics. Green technology. So this is one good area because you, as I told you, I mean, additional to the climate finance and technology development or transfer, the capacity building is another area. So green technology, I mean, we get support from the Climate Technology Network and Center also for development of green technology. We are getting some green technology with the private sector, decarbonization technologies and enhancing resilience technologies, adapting renewable energy. Renewable energy is going to some extent now, and sustainable technologies offers growth opportunities despite initial investment barriers. So, I mean, these areas we are working. But to tell you the truth, as the director of the Climate Change Secretariat, operational focal point to the Paris Agreement, I am not satisfied with our effort. I mean, we have to have more sustainable results. We want to mobilize different communities, different social groups, our stakeholders into climate action. Hardly, I mean, we are we have some progress since we compared before 10 years, 20 years. But still, we have to align our communities, sectors into climate action. Next slide, please. How climate change affects Sri Lankan lives. You can see human impact. Let me explain about livelihood at risk. You would have seen, I am not going to explain much here. So, rising temperatures, there are community displacement. You know what happened is that our communities, mainly the poor people. I mean, what happened is that, I mean, if they don't have a safer place to reside, to have their settlement, to build their house, so they go and build their, so they reside there. They found a place, maybe a floodplain. So, 7,000 family houses were fully damaged due to this storm. So why? Because the houses were built at bad places. So what happened is that the landslides and the and mud flows and all the things happen in unexpected places. So this was the extreme tropical cyclone. But what happened is that there are different activities we are doing uh, to find out safer places uh, to settle them. So what happened is that climate displacement forces families from flood-prone areas, disrupting education and economic stability for generations. Health concerns. If you went through our national determined contributions, we have identified there are different zoonotic diseases like dengue, malaria, filariasis, leishmaniasis, and all those things, and some other non-communicable diseases also. Heat stress. Those are real new concerns. So that increase heat waves, dengue outbreaks, and water scarcity, and uh, uh, creating serious public health challenges for vulnerable population. So the future generation. So the today's children will inherit intensified drought, floods. This is not the reality when I was a child. I am 59 years old now. In my childhood, we enjoyed the. I mean, I am so sorry about our children, my daughters and all. They don't see the fair fair climate. We played outside without any problem. We slept well. We didn't have any fear. So what happened? Today's children will inherit intensified droughts. So we have to. So I mean, we are responsible for this. I mean, although we say that the developed world should provide the solutions, but they are still continuing their unsustainable industrial production and all. So that is the bad politics of this UNFCCC and all. Floods and foods insecurity unless urgent climate action is taken now. So you can question me. We'll discuss more on these matters. Next slides. Climate action is everyone's responsibility. So this is critical area. So we are the national focal point. The cabinet ministry endorsed this target. The Minister of Environment, the Climate Change Secretariat. So what is our role? We prepare policies, we consult our sectoral stakeholders like tourism ministry, agriculture ministry, health ministry, industry ministry. We in consultation with them, aligning with their sectoral policies, energy security, food security, health aspects and all. We prepare NDCs, national adaptation plans and all. We coordinate these activities. We try our best to incorporate these concerns into their sectoral development plans. Even the provincial development plans also, as we have prepared provincial adaptation plans aligned with the national adaptation plan. So we do our role. So we, as the cabinet ministry, that is our role, coordinate with the global community, UNFCCC, the Paris Agreement, other funding arms, Green Climate Fund, Adaptation Plan, Climate Investment Fund, and technology, new knowledge, everything. So if you visit us, we will help you to make your dream to make Sri Lanka as more climate resilient country. So those are the public sector role. But the private sector, they get more risk than us. They are the entrepreneurs. So they need to get funding from the banks and the existing money market. And so they invest, they decide, they prepare their projects. They are the engine of growth, and they are profit motive because they get more risk than us. So as government, we are operating of the consolidated government budgets, but that blessing is not with the private sector. So they get more risk and they seek more profits. That's okay. So likewise, so how we can put climate change into their agenda? We are having discussions and we are developing different tools, public, private partnerships, and all those things. They are to work with them so that they are profit motive also. So you earn profits with climate resilient technologies. You earn profit more sustainable, making your activities sustainable. I am very happy. Lot of different private sector banks and companies now have the sustainability division. There is a different sustainability manager. So that is a good move. We are working with them and we are getting their proposals and evaluating and giving the clearance to promote them. Civil society, individual citizens. So I mean, climate action is everyone's responsibility. Take action today for a sustainable Sri Lanka tomorrow. Reduce your footprint, carbon footprint. So for that, we have pledged to become, I have explained it, we have pledged to become a net zero country by 2050. So we are identifying net zero entities. There are different entities in Sri Lanka. National Science Foundation recently expressed their interest to become a net zero country. Hatton National Bank already become a net zero country. They have a policy, and World Vision Sri Lanka having some programs. We also supporting to net zero in the sense that their day-to-day activities they suggest, they consult us. I guided our Sri Lanka Climate Fund also to provide advices so that in what aspects you can reduce your carbon footprints. uh, Likewise, so they are getting advices to reduce footprint. So their journey one day to become contribute us to become a net zero country by 2050. Likewise, different stakeholders have different role, but we have a one final destiny to become a net zero country for Sri Lanka. So the next slide, please.
I think
Hello,
that's
next
all the
slide.
slides. That's all the
Oh, okay.
slides.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry here. Thank you. Slide is missing. I mean, uh, so shall we open discussion? I like more discussion because this is our presentation. Let's go to the chat. There is a chat question. Many NGOs focus on climate change. uh, Yogeshwari Ponnaya asked this question. Let me let me read it. Many NGOs focus on climate change and the introduction of organic agricultural, sorry, organic agricultural systems is an area of overlap with their work. Are they monitored by your institution? If so, that's great. There are grassroots level implementations to observe. Yes, really, but unfortunately, we are still in a very infancy stage and we don't have a monitoring mechanism for this type of NGO organic agriculture systems. I'm sorry, but let me tell you the our efforts. So now we have developed with the support from the Food and Agriculture Organization climate resilient climate investment plan. So I can share forum to establish center also in the Ministry of Health. We are having discussions with the support from the World Bank. With those things, we will have appropriate monitoring mechanisms. As you mentioned, many NGOs focus on climate change and the introduction of organic agricultural systems in an area of overlap with their work. Yes, we want to streamline and remove the overlapping and all those things. Thank you. Well taken your comment. Thank you, Miss Yogeshwari. Any more questions? Please ask. Yes, we can have a good discussion now. Oh, I mean, there are about, let me, there are about 38 participants. I I like talk to you.
There any questions from
So I
audience?
like a feedback. Yeah, any feedback
Sure,
from
sir.
to my presentation? So to improve our climate action, mostly welcome.
Uh, Yes, I think there is no anything from audience, but from our Green Building Council of Sri Lanka and Sri Lanka Institute of Architects, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for sharing your expertise and experience with us today, and your valuable perspectives on climate change, global climate commitments, and the responsibilities shared by nations, organizations, professionals, and individuals have provided us with a deeper understanding of the actions needed to create a sustainable future. And also, I would like to
Oh,
thank you,
thank you.
sir, for your insightful and engaging the presentation. And would also like to thank all participants for taking the time to join with us for this webinar and for your active engagement throughout the session. And your interest in climate actions and sustainability is greatly appreciated. If there are any feedbacks and questions, you can share with Green Building Council of Sri Lanka so we can let to know the Mr. Leel Randeni. And we hope that the knowledge gained today will inspire meaningful action with your respective organizations, professions, and communities. And thank you once again for being with us. We look forward to meet you at our future webinars and professional development programs. Have a pleasant evening and stay commitment to building a more sustainable and climate resilient future. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Miss Rinusha. Okay, thank you all. Okay, bye. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir.
Okay, bye.